Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here with a look at your tropical update for July 4th of 2019. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Tropical update, as always, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Big thanks to them, as always, for helping us out with these tropical updates as we head through the rest of the summer. For now, during hurricane season, where we are, of course, in July, we're looking just off the East Coast into the Gulf of Mexico and down into the Caribbean, all the way over to kind of the Greater and Lesser Antilles. That's about as far as we go this time of the year. Later, as we head into August, then we start looking a little further out, maybe a couple areas of higher development in here as well as kind of that bullseye in and through parts of the Caribbean. But for now, we're basically just looking in the Caribbean. It's kind of a slow burn time. We haven't really hit the uptick in hurricane season, which we'll do as we head through parts of August into September and through October. As of now, though, into the Gulf, we're reasonably quiet. A big ridge of high pressure is in control, and so you got everything kind of floating around clockwise. We've got showers and thunderstorms over land, but those aren't associated with anything tropical. And then down into the Caribbean, we're also reasonably quiet, with a little bit of shear out there as well. Over in the Pacific, very quickly, we've got two areas that we're talking about. We've got this one which has a pretty decent shot of development. I think it's about a 60 to 80% chance of development through the next 5 days from the National Hurricane Center. And then we've got Barb over here, which continues to lift off kind of west-northwest and now kind of curlicuing off to the northwest. This is still well away from, I was trying to drag it, but well away from the Hawaiian Islands, which are going to be just off the map over there. So this isn't going to bother Hawaii. It's a fish storm, as we like to call it, and it's already starting to wind itself down. Was at one point a Category 4. I didn't check the numbers for the afternoon update, but just know that it's, again, not bothering anybody floating around out there. Okay, let's get back into the Atlantic. Not much doing. We do have a couple of waves down here. We got one in here, we've got another one out there, and then as we get a little bit closer to Africa, we got a pretty decent wave that's marching its way across Africa that's going to eventually move off the coast. This wave actually, according to some of the models, may be worth watching. However, something that's worth watching even more than this guy is something that may happen a little bit closer to home. Now, we talked, by the way, we talked about how Hurricane Michael, if you're paying attention to all of our tropical stuff we do here at WDAM, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how Michael was a great example of sometimes you don't get 5 days, you don't get 7 days, we don't see stuff coming off the African coast, and you get 1 or 2 days to figure out what to do during a tropical system. And sometimes with rapid intensification, like we saw with Michael, you don't even get as many as 2 or 3 days to get ready for a Category 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever category it is, because of the rapid intensification that it can go through, which is why you always prepare for a hurricane or the strength of a hurricane 1 category higher than you're actually getting, maybe even 2. Okay. 700 millibar moisture, 850 vorticity map. Keep that in the back of your noodle here. We've got plenty of dry air going across the Atlantic Ocean. We've also got some dry air into the Gulf of Mexico. Those are the grayed out areas. What we're looking for is the areas of blue, yellow, and eventually into orange and red, where we've got low-level vorticity, fancy word for spin. Watch what happens as we head through time this weekend, Saturday into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What we're keeping tabs on is an area somewhere kind of in this ballpark, either just off South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, or just into the Gulf of Mexico. The models are still a little out to lunch on exactly where this is going to shake out, because it's just a little too far ahead in time. That's normal. This isn't some kind of thing like, oh my goodness, we don't know where it's going to go. This is some kind of a crazy setup. It isn't. This is completely normal that the models can't figure out between this side and into the Atlantic and this side and into the Gulf of Mexico. This is Tuesday as we head through Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. You see how we get a lot of vorticity down here away from the grayed out area, The reason that this is curlicuing back off to the west is the ridge of high pressure that's parked over the Gulf of Mexico right now lifts to the north a little bit, and you get the return flow that kind of pulls it back off to the west. Depending on where that ridge sets up and where it goes over the next couple of days, how strong it is, yada, 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 that's going to dictate, number one, where this goes, but number two, whatever happens with it. stronger ridge in here, and it's actually on the other side of Florida. And in fact, that's where it was yesterday. If you were watching the tropical update yesterday, I said, well, yeah, we got an area that's just off the coast, but as stuff forms off the coast here, it tends to go back out to sea. If it forms on the other side of Florida, it has a better chance of getting pulled back around and then turning back off to the northeast. So we're going to have to keep tabs on this through the next few days because it is so close to home. And again, you don't always get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. We don't always watch things come off the coast of Africa. Now, there is going to be something off the coast of Africa. There it is, right there, sliding off to the south, but it turns into kind of nothing as we get another shot of drier air coming off of with the Saharan dust coming off the coast of Africa as we head through July 14th. So there's a look at your tropical update again, brought to you by good folks at Pine Belt Gutters for Independence Day, July 4th of 2019. Things to keep tabs on as we head through late next week, the middle to late next week and into next weekend. Still kind of out there in voodoo land as far as Mother Nature and tropical systems are concerned, but it is something that we're keeping close tabs on as we head through the next couple of days. And again, you can always grab these tropical update forecasts on the WDAM First Alert Weather app or on YouTube.